What is happening, guys? My name is Jamie and today we are reviewing a brand new progressive metal, incorporate elements of power metal album, Lords of Black, and the album Alchemy of Souls. Now, in case you don't know, Lords of Black is a Spanish progressive metal band, incorporating elements of melodic metal along with power metal. So this album took me by surprise, it really did, and I just absolutely love the album cover. The album cover is really fantastic, it's quite intriguing. I just want to know what type of album, what type of sound this album was going to have. This album is around about 52 minutes with 10 songs on it, and each song is warranted on this album. This album is quite a heavy album, and it's progressive. There are some awesome soaring guitar solos, some infectious melodies. Not only that, you have an incredible vocalist called Ronnie Romero, whose vocals are so distinctive, rich and warm in tone, but yet dynamic. And dare I say, I could compare his vocals to the legend himself, Ronnie James Dio. He does sound like the vocalist Ronnie James Dio in a few songs on this album, and that is very impressive. The grunt he has on especially some of these songs, mind-blowing. It's not all perfect, this album. No, it's not all perfect. It's a good album, but it's not a great album. So the production overall is okay in my opinion. Like, you really can't hear the bass within the mix, and that's a little bit of a disappointing factor because I did hear there are some really nice bass licks, but they are just so low in the mix. The drums are punchy at times, but the snare sounds quite thin on this album. There is different guitar tones throughout this album. Really, you get some unexpected chugging riffs that sound like something out of a metalcore album. So there are some unexpected moments on this album, but most of it is pretty good. Like the Fates Warning album review, we're going track by track. And first of all, it's Dying to Live Again. So there are synthy elements that build up throughout the intro. There are a lot of punchy synths and keyboards within the song. Ronnie's vocals are incredibly powerful to kick off with a really uplifting chorus, which just makes you feel so good inside. There are some really nice guitar moments throughout Dying to Live Again, and I just love how melodic and catchy this song is. But you get some overlaying dual guitars by Tony Hernando, who creates this really nice solo and melody throughout this song. So yeah, Dying to Live Again is a pretty good song in my opinion, but it's not the best. But it's a great way to kick off the fucking album. The next up is Into the Black. This song is a little bit better. I just really love the punchy and stompy drums on this. This is one of the main factors where the production really showcases the drums on this album. Tony incorporates a really nice gritty guitar riff throughout the introduction, and the vocals are very dynamic in range, and again, Ronnie's vocals really shine throughout this particular song. What I love also is how there is such a nice chord progression that builds up to the chorus, and which leads on to a really long but fast solo. Yeah, this guitar solo is pretty long by Tony. Not only that, it's the drumming, the tight little drum fills to just complement this solo, which is absolutely fucking fantastic in my opinion. It just really builds up the epicness of this song, and of course it's got those power metal elements along with those proggy elements as well. There are different odd time signatures throughout the song, but although it's still solid. And the next up is Deliverance Lost. It's a little bit of a longer song. What I love about this song is the introduction, and Joe Nunes, who is the drummer on this band, incorporates some really nice tight drum fills that just remind me of something you hear from Painkiller from Judas Priest, especially the introduction. After the incredible drum rolls and the fills, you get some really nice guitar lead that is quite infectious in tone. Ronnie again showcases his vocals throughout this song, although he incorporates more melancholic vocal lines, which is absolutely fantastic. He uses more of his head voice instead of his chest voice, and I just love how the riffs are so powerful within the chorus. This is a feel-good chorus in my opinion, and it's quite uplifting. But there is a slow emotional guitar solo as Tony Hernandez incorporates an incredible drum passage at the end. So you get a really nice drum passage throughout the introduction, and at the end of the solo, you get another drum passage. This song sort of complements the drums of how good the drums are on this song. Next up is Sacrifice, and this is probably one of the most fucking catchiest songs off the album. Again, there's a beautiful ominous build up throughout the introduction, and I just love how prominent the bass is. Finally can hear the fucking bass on this album, but there's also a nice keyboard melody creating this atmosphere, which is absolutely fantastic. I just love how Ronnie incorporates incorporates some incredible vocals that complement his vocals with some really nice intricate guitar riffs. Again, there's a catchy chorus. Can't help but sing Sacrifice. It's so damn good. Although this song is quite proggy, it leads on to a free-flowing guitar solo that will melt your fucking face. The way the guitar solo is, it's quite shreddy, it's quite fast, and it's quite ripping. And it's absolutely fucking fantastic. Keyboard elements incorporate more of that symphonic feel on this song, but damn, it's still a pretty heavy, progressive song. Now, next up is Brightest Star. Brightest Star is a really good song. It's a slow tempo song, not as fast paced tempo as the other songs I have talked about. The Brightest Star has a really hard hitting intro with a really gritty guitar riff, and I just love it how the vocals, but Ronnie's vocals are so distinctive on this, and he's so dynamic in range. But again, the song is quite slow, but it's still quite an impactful song. There's a really nice, beautiful, and emotional guitar solo, because Ronnie conveys a lot of emotion throughout the song, so overall it's a pretty solid song. Next up is Closer to 4, a very good song, quite a bombastic introduction with a really nice guitar lead. Ronnie's vocals are again fantastic on this. I also love the guitar lead throughout Closer to Your 4, where it does lead into a very nice solo. Most of these songs on this album has some incredible solos. I just love the build up towards the solos. But yeah, the main factor on this album are the guitar solos in my opinion, because they're absolute fucking bangers. So next up is Shadow Kill Twice. Now, I'm a little bit torn with this song. It's a pretty long song, around about 6 or 7 minutes, but it also packs a punch. The introduction is fantastic. There is a really nice piano melody throughout the introduction. Then it's accompanied by some really nice lead guitar, creating a melancholic atmosphere, which I absolutely love. And it just feels so atmospheric. The song slowly builds up and we finally begin to see those guitar riffs come in that are quite intricate in tone. The vocals are on point. But what is the problem with this particular song is the chorus is fucking weak. It's weak as piss. And that is one of the negatives of this, that I just wanted such an uplifting, soaring chorus, and what do you fucking get? You get Shadows Kill Twice, that is it. Look, the instrumentals are fantastic. I just love the drumming on this song, but there's just some weaknesses on this song as well, especially the choruses. There's a lot of chugging guitar moments on this, and this is when the chugginess becomes quite prominent throughout the second half of the album. Now, throughout this particular song, Shadows Kill Twice, there's an unexpected breakdown. Yeah, a breakdown. And it is pretty good, but fuck me, this is not a metalcore album. So I don't know why they incorporate a sort of breakdown on this fucking song, but did it work? It surely did, because it led on to a guitar solo. So I'm a bit hit and miss with this song. It just threw me off when there was a fucking breakdown on this. Never heard of a progressive power metal song incorporating a breakdown. So the album starts to lose energy with Disease in Disguise. Although this is a good song and Ronnie's vocals are fantastic, I just feel that, yeah, this is another sort of lackluster song because nothing really grabs me, not even a fucking chorus. There are some prominent guitar riffs and a really nice lead, but there's just nothing to this song apart from a really nice guitar solo, which is pretty good. The guitar solo, I have to admit, is pretty good, but the chord progression on this particular song isn't that great, and this is one of the less memorable songs. Next up is my favorite song off the album. We're talking about Tides of Blood, and I swear to God, you are hearing Ronnie James Dio on this song. His vocals, Ronnie Camara's vocals on this song are fantastic. First of all, he comes in the introduction using his beautiful vocal lines, and the vocals kick off with the song. I just love his grunt, his aggressive grunt he's delivering, and his vocal delivery on this song is fucking fantastic. I love the infectious guitar riff throughout Tides of Blood, and there is a bouncy groove. The bouncy groove on this fucking song is fantastic. The energy the band has on this song as well, you just can't match it. I just love how there's different odd time signatures throughout this song. Joe's drumming on point. There is a catchy chorus. The chorus is very catchy. What is absolutely fantastic is that Ronnie gets to this high falsetto that matches the guitar tone throughout the guitar solo, which is just magical. I just love how the guitar notes match his vocal notes. And then you get another brilliant solo. Tides of Blood is my favorite song off the album. Next up is Alchemy of Souls. This is the last song from the album, and holy shit, this is a 10-minute song. So this song is a pretty epic and majestic song. I just love the leading guitar and the introduction that has this really strong reverby tone. And it's just a slow building intro. Vocals are eerie and ominous, and Ronnie's vocals are absolutely fantastic on this song. And there's just a nice build up towards halfway through the song where you finally get a fucking infectious guitar riff that will get stuck in your head. The chorus is strong and it's quite melodic, but the song really builds up and it sort of fades as you finally get a really nice piano melody accompanied with Ronnie's vocals. It's a really nice, beautiful guitar lead with a chugging riff, which is sort of interesting in my opinion. This is one of the negatives. The chugging riffs on this particular song and the chugging riffs on this particular album seem to me that they don't actually fit on this album. Just don't understand this chugging riff dynamic. Regardless of the chugging riffs you get on this song, there are some really nice guitar lead. And there is a nice solo for Alchemy of Souls, and it builds up with a change in signature that is just really emotional in tone. Again, Ronnie matches the guitar notes within the solo, and it's absolutely fucking fantastic. His distinctive range is amazing. Not only that, the conclusion is quite epic. There are some bass moments on this song which you can hear, which is fantastic. Now, throughout the conclusion of the song, of course, you get the chorus with Ronnie's amazing vocals, but then you get a shredding guitar solo by Tony to end off the album as Ronnie sings his heart out throughout the conclusion of the song. So overall, this song was absolutely fantastic. But I gotta admit that Tides of Blood was probably my favorite song off the album. So, what did I think about this album? I thought this album was fucking fantastic. It really was. Although it's not the best progressive metal album this year, it's going to be probably a contender. It's not as good as Fate's Warning, nor as good as Haken, or even Sons of Apollo, but this album certainly holds true to what it is. It's a progressive metal album incorporating elements of power metal, and there are certain power metal elements throughout this album. Although the chugging riffs at times do get quite repetitive and quite annoying, I do really appreciate the guitar work, and not only that, you got one of the greatest vocalists that I have heard all year, and that is Ronnie. Yeah, Ronnie's vocals are incredible. Really reminds me of Ronnie James Dio in my opinion. And I just love the overall build-up of this album. Although there are some lackluster moments on this album as well, the positives outweigh the negatives. With Lords of Black and the album Alchemy of Souls Part 1, I will give this a solid 8 out of 10. It's a very thoroughly enjoyable album. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Comment below if you're going to check out this album. Do you agree or disagree in my opinion? Keep the discussion in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.